of Art Cavalier. These bouts are sanctioned by the Mashantucket Pequot Tribal Nation Gaming and Athletic Commission. The 3 judges assigned at ringside for the first bout, scoring it on a 10-point must system, will be Glenn Feldman, Tommy Kazmarek, and Don O'Neill. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Jim Santa. And now, for the first of 2 times this evening, from Foxwoods Casino Resort of Connecticut, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! 12 rounds of boxing for a WBA official championship elimination bout in the welterweight division. Sanctioned by the World Boxing Association, WBA supervisor at ringside, James J. Binns. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. He's wearing red and weighs in at 148 1/4 pounds. He comes to the ring with an excellent professional record of 20 victories. 15 victories by knockout with only 1 defeat. Ladies and gentlemen, from Shtelatimik, Russia, introducing the WBA #1 ranked welterweight in the world, Andrey Pestryayev.
Yes, Tim. It's you tonight.
And across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing emerald green, his weight is 149 pounds even. In 1984, he captured Olympic gold. And now, as a professional, he has 40 victories, 17 of those by knockout with 2 losses and 1 draw. And he has captured 4 world championships in 4 different weight divisions. He's always been considered by many as pound for pound one of boxing's best. Ladies and gentlemen, from Norfolk, Virginia, presenting the 4-time champion of the world, Pernell, Sweet Pea Whitaker.
That's you, baby. Pound for pound, pound for pound. You got it. Let's go. Finish, Sweet Pea. Let's go. Good evening, gentlemen. We went over all the rules in the dressing rooms. Let's touch gloves and have a good fight.
Well, we're about to see Pernell Whitaker, a certain Hall of Famer, probably for one of the few more times he'll be in the ring.
You ready?
Most decorated fighter of his generation, starting with the Olympic gold medal and all of the amateur accomplishments that preceded it, and proceeding on to his string of world championships. But we've seen him look very troubled a couple times in the past few years. In his first fight against Wilfredo Rivera, he was obviously undertrained, sick, he tells us, that week in San Martin. Fought poorly against Cuban Diabales Hurtado early in 1996. He was horrendous, or late in 1996. Ultimately scored a late knockout of Hurtado to salvage what could have been a disastrous loss. So you never know which Whitaker's going to show up at this stage of his career.
I think the comeback against Diabales Hurtado was one of the best fights of his career, probably because of the fact that he had come from so far behind.
He was knocked down in the first round by Hurtado and trailed on the scorecards when he knocked Hurtado out in the 11th round. Pestryayev likes to throw a lot of punches. It'll be interesting to see if he's able to get off more than 70 or 75 punches per round, which is his average, against Pernell Whitaker.
Box, fellas. That's it. Box it out. Box it out. Come on, box. That's it. Good.
He may be able to get him off, but I don't think he will land many of them, especially to the head.
Well, even at his best against the weak opponents he's been fighting, Pestryayev lands about 30% of his punches. So if he were able to land that many against Whitaker, he'd be doing extremely well.
That was a good hook by Pestryayev.
That's it. Good job. Watch your legs, guys. Box it out. Box it out. Come on. Right, no punches. No punches. Chicky, step back. Let's go. Come on. go. Let's go. Box it up. That's it. Box it out. Keep boxing, fellas. No holding. Come on, Sweepy. Let go. Box it out. Box it out. That's it.
Sort of an awkward first round as Whitaker tries to find openings against the gangly Pestryayev, and Pestryayev resorts to holding Whitaker frequently when he comes close.
Whitaker's throwing some good body shots this first round.
Left hand lands for Whitaker. Pestryaev's trying to get his jab working, but he throws it very tentatively. Now tries a right hand across the top. Might do well to dispense with the jab against the southpaw style of Whitaker. And when we go to Pestrayayev's corner between rounds, if they choose to speak Russian there, our interpreter is Alex Giroux.
So next time you come here. You must be smart. If you are smart, know the...
Just
Oh. Tu vas te bouger le cul plus vite.
About to keep the head moving, stay low. Don't get up high with this guy. Beautiful round, baby.
Yeah, you're boxing beautiful out there. Stay low, that's all.
Keep the jab going because he can't set without when you jabbing, okay? Just keep like that. And the left hand, when you
Right hook, this guy's starting to come up good.
work the way you're working, baby. Don't change nothing.
Let's go. Come on.
What I'm hoping to see, Roy, is Whitaker not only making his opponent miss, but punching off those misses.
Countering some. I'm sure once he gets settled in, he will counter some. A lot of times when you don't know a guy or when you haven't seen him much, you have to first see what you're dealing with. See how hard he's punching. See what's his best punch so you don't run into it while you're trying to counter.
You saw how tentative Pestryayev looked in the first round. By CompuBox punch count, he threw 25 jabs and landed none of them. Whitaker trying to get the left hand to the body. Pestryayev has made a conscious effort to come out and be more aggressive here in round two, but now he begins reacting to what Whitaker's doing, as he did in the first round.
Whitaker's jab seems to be working pretty good tonight.
I think he'll be able to use feints to get Pestryayev out of position pretty easily, Roy.
And he's keeping his jab on top of Pestrayayev's jab.
Duba in the feature piece suggesting that he wished Whitaker had thrown more left hands against De La Hoya. One of the things his corner will be watching for tonight, not just the left hand, but the right hook. Power punch off the front foot that he's been working on in the gym with Ronnie Shields.
Well, Lou claims that Pernell is amphibian, meaning ambidextrous, and that his right hand is as good as his left.
Oh, good shot.
Hard left hand shot by Whitaker.
Let go, Sweepy. Come on, Pernell. Box him. Let go. Keep up.
I think Whitaker is really hurting Pestrayayev's body.
Well, there's a lot of it to hurt.
That was that right hook he's working on.
No punches, fellas. No punches. No punches. Ho, ho. Let's go, guys. Come on. When I say no punches, all right? Pernell, look at him, all right?
When Pernell Whitaker won his gold medal in 1984, the Russians didn't show up at Los Angeles for that Olympics, but nobody could have ever imagined that he would one day be fighting a Russian in a professional prize fight.
Effective combo along the ropes by Whitaker there. You can see that Whitaker's body punches are occasionally backing Pestryayev up.
Oh, that was that hook that he's working on.
There you go. There's that quick right hook inside, and it landed for Whitaker on the chin. Now he misses wildly with the left and laughs about it.
5 seconds.
Still to come in the second half of our doubleheader, Ghanaian superstar Ike Quartey. comes from Africa, continuing to seek status, glory, money in the United States. Tonight's opponent, Jose Luis Lopez of Mexico, one of the toughest names on Quarte's dossier so far.
Keep your little head moving. Keep going behind your jab. When you get close, the left hand, you can steal him with that left hand all day long. All right?
Thank you.
All right, give me a deep breath. Right?
That right hook's coming in beautiful. It's coming higher and higher. You're going to hit him on the chin sooner or later. Beautiful. You're beautiful boxing. Have fun with it. All right?
Keep working.
Yeah.
Don't far. Hey, don't go too far. Close.
Pernell Whitaker is known for playing little ball, but sometimes he loads up and plays big ball.
By CompuBox statistics, in the first 2 rounds, Pestryayev has landed only 12% of his punches. 11 out of 89. Through 45 in the first round, landed 5. Through 44 in the second round, landed 6. So he's not finding Whitaker, and that's nothing new. The overwhelming majority of Whitaker's opponents have faced exactly the same problem. Now a little counter left inside lands for Pestryayev, and Whitaker goes back to work on Pestrayayev's body. And there's a left and a right and a left all together by Pestryayev. And Whitaker suddenly seems to want to retaliate.
Whitaker having his championship mentality is not going to let this guy come in, tee off on him, and not counter back.
Now, of course, we could say that it's easy enough for Whitaker to unload on a fighter of this caliber. He might have been a little bit less eager to throw those big punches against Oscar De La Hoya because of what might come back at him.
Pestryayev, 26 years old. He'll be 27 in December. Raised in the town of Sterletinik in the Ural Mountains, north-central Russia.
Yeah, that's a town right near the town where Kostazou came out of, the former junior welterweight champion.
Pestryayev fought for Russia at the 1992 Barcelona Olympics, but he was not an amateur star like so many before him from his country. Hard left hand you saw by Whitaker. Pestryayev bounces back and lands a little left of his own. There's that right hook again.
You know, this makes me feel good about Whitaker, to see him go back and pick up some of the things that he used to do in his old days and bring them back out. That lets you know that a guy is still interested in being the best that he can possibly be.
Well, Whitaker says that his gym work has been rejuvenated in the last couple of years by the presence in his training scene of the young fighters that Main Events and Lou Duva are bringing along, notably Zab Judah at 140 pounds, Arturo Gatti, 130-pound star, Fernando Vargas, 147-pound star in waiting.
Keep up, come on. 5 seconds. No punches, no punches.
Round 3 comes to an end.
Good. Yeah. Hey, that's good now.
Pull that down a little bit. I want to be able to see it then, okay?
Спокойно дыши.
Now, you do good. Close, no jump, because when you are jumping, it touches you, okay? You are close, you move your body, a 1, 2, 3, snap, 1, 2, 3, snap.
Отличный раунд.
You go good now.
Very good round, very good round. Throw it straight. And every now and then, when you close now, don't try to throw the hook from the outside. Throw the hook when you're real close to it.
Let's go, seconds. Come on, let's go.
Along about now, you start wondering whether Pestryayev has a plan B.
Well, conventional wisdom in the sport is if he produces a plan B, he'll be the first Eastern European fighter ever to have done so. Letterman, your scorecard for the first 3 rounds.
Jim, so far I think this one's easy. 30-27, 3 rounds to nothing. Pernell, Sweet Pea Whitaker. Boy, in that first round, Pete outboxed him beautifully. In the second and third, he outfought him. And you know something, to follow up on what Larry said, Jim, if there was ever a southpaw with a better right hand than Pernell Whitaker, I never saw it. Just keep watching that right hand, because that's what the judges are seeing. That right hand is beautiful. Snap, great hook, good right hand.
Hard left hand by Pestryayev. Backs Whitaker up.
He landed 3 or 4 punches in that flurry.
And another hard left hand up top. So Pestryayev has begun to find an opening for his left hook.
I guess this is plan B, Jim.
It's kind of interesting given the fact that De La Hoya struggled so mightily to land even one left hook against Whitaker. But of course, De La Hoya spent the evening circling away from the opportunity to throw his best punch and later acknowledged that he had the wrong fight plan. Whitaker sticking the right in Pestrayev's face as the Russian moves in.
Break! No punches, no punches, no punches. No punches, okay? Watch this, all right? Let's go. Come on.
It's almost as if Pestryayev was desperately nervous the first couple rounds, Roy, and now has begun to loosen up a little bit.
Yeah, he had to have been nervous, Jim. He's never been in with a guy the caliber of a Pernell Whitaker. He's never had this big of an opposition in front of him. And I'm sure it was a shock to him. I'm sure there was a lot of pressure on him. Now he's finding that, hey, I can stay in here, so let me see what I can do if I'm in here. If I'm going to be here, I may as well try to make the best of it. And that's exactly what he's doing right now.
Let's go. Come on, guys. All right, break.
You know, a lot of the top professionals you talk to say the last guy in the world they want to fight is Pernell Whitaker. Pestryayev says he never even heard of him until 3 or 4 years ago.
Went through his entire amateur boxing career, according to him, without knowing anything about professional boxing or boxers in the United States. Now Whitaker roughing up Pestryayev along the ropes.
No punches, let's go.
He'll learn a little bit about him tonight, though, that's for sure. He's in there with a crafty veteran.
Let go. That's it, box. Keep boxing, keep boxing.
Whitaker landing a counter left inside as Pestryayev lunged forward.
5 seconds, fellas. Come on, 5 seconds. Keep him up. Let's go. Time. No punches. Good job.
Look, he's trying to pick up your pace on you. Look, don't abandon your jab now, right? Whatever you do, don't abandon your jab. Now stay with your jab like you do it.
Pull him tight, man.
Okay.
Tight.
Okay. Look, don't abandon the jab. Start doubling up on your jab now, just a little bit. All right? Look, start moving your head a little bit with this guy. Look, when you throw in combinations, you got to get down. You can't get up high. So you got up a little high, and he hit you with a couple shots. Okay? Now stay away from fighting with this guy. We're going to keep boxing this guy. You're boxing him right up close. Good. So
all right, here's plan B for Pestryayev as he landed a nice flurry early in the round. Whitaker perhaps looking to land something big and walked into some punches.
Let's go, guys.
We can't quite get a look at the feet, but there was some notion that he might have been stepping on Whitaker's shoes during that flurry, or part of it.
Well, here's a good full-length view and a chance to see the foot interaction. Of course, when you're fighting against a southpaw, Roy, the conventional piece of advice from the trainers, keep your foot outside of his lead foot.
Yeah, because if you don't, then you're lined up to be right down the pipe of his punches. In other words, his hands are lined right between your hands.
Pestryayev seems quite content to put his foot right in front of Whitaker's. He doesn't seem to be making any conscious effort to stay outside of Whitaker's lead foot.
Because he's taller than Whitaker, he doesn't have to do that. The height advantage gives him room to react to whatever Whitaker does, because Whitaker has to travel a little further than he normally would.
As Pestryayev has gotten a little bit braver through rounds 3 and 4 and into the 5th. he's become more effective. And you heard Whitaker's corner urging him to keep his head moving, as they felt as though he'd allowed his head to get a little bit still and gotten careless, and that's why Pestryayev was landing punches.
Pestryayev is trying some different things now. He's gaining confidence, as you said, and that will make a fighter try different tactics.
Pestryayev and his trainer Luis Icarris were at odds on the question of whether he'd ever fought a southpaw as a professional. Icarris said, oh yes, certainly he has. Pestryayev said, no, I don't think I have. If this is legitimately the first time he's ever fought a southpaw as a professional, he's not doing too badly in the technique area.
Not badly at all.
Hasn't been able to land those straight right hands that most fighters try to use as the heart of the arsenal against a southpaw. Now Whitaker looking for uppercuts against Pestryayev, and Whitaker was hoping that the uppercut would score heavily for him in this bout.
And I think he's been doing pretty good so far.
Got a tall opponent who crouches over to get at you. Perfect uppercut target, right?
Yeah, once you can get him to crouch over. First, you have to pin him against the ropes to make him crouch over, then you throw the uppercut.
Whitaker landing the jab.
Oh, no, break! No punches, no punches, no punches. Watch the elbow. Okay, let's go. Come on.
Trade punches in the corner.
Let's go to rope. Let's go to rope.
Solid blows on both sides.
And Pernell threw a very powerful right hook there.
The right hook.
Come on.
You're perfect.
Look, keep boxing and feint, box him, and sometimes when you get close, you got straight half step with the left hand, then bring the hook back. But you make sure you're close here.
Your hand up. You understand? And you stay, you move your body, and you kill him. Combination. Combination.
I'm reminded watching this, guys, that it's easy enough for us to say the other guy doesn't look that good, he doesn't have a good record, he ought to win easy, Whitaker. The other part of it is he's got to go out and do it.
But the guy doesn't have a bad record, it's just not against noticeable opposition.
Right. Yeah, in fact, the next to last fighter he knocked out 2 fights ago had been knocked out 6 consecutive times coming into the fight. Which means that Pestryayev, with a record of 18-1, was fighting a guy who had been knocked out 6 consecutive times. That probably wouldn't happen with a contender here in the USA. Although, of course, it's boxing, so you never want to say never.
Never can say what will not happen.
Hard left hand to the chest by Whitaker. Hard left hand to the jaw by Whitaker, and Pestryayev momentarily stunned by that left.
Break, no punches. Let's go. No punches, okay.
What Whitaker is doing is he's lining his right foot outside of Pestrayev's foot. That lets his left hand be right down the middle of Pestrayev's gloves. Then he can land that straight left hand with no problem.
Let go of him, Sweet Pea. Punch him. Punch, that's it. Oh, no. That's a slip. That's a slip. Let go of him. That's it. Oh, chance, guys, come on. Yeah, just fight, okay?
Pernell Whitaker said to the referee after that clinch, watch his head, watch his head. The referee said, Pernell, just fight.
Jim Santa, former Maryland Terrapin football player who now lives in New York, saying, I'll do the refereeing here, Pete. Straight right hand by Pestryayev, countering the right right hand by Whitaker in close.
Let go, let go.
Pestryayev has a pretty good straight right lead.
Needs to get it off more frequently.
Come on, punch. Let's go. Come on, fellas.
There's that uppercut that Whitaker said he wanted to work on.
Let go. 5 seconds.
And he waited until he got his man to the ropes, just as he said he would, Roy.
Watch the elbow, okay? Let's go. Time. Both you guys, watch their heads, okay? Okay.
Три глубоких вдоха-выдоха. Поглубже. Поглубже сделай вдох-выдох. Хорошо, подыши.
He's having a little bit of trouble breathing. You got to try to start to breathe a little easier. Just watch yourself, and also try to extend them out a little bit. Extend them out.
Спокойно, увереннее. Не суетись.
I believe you can do it. Straighten out, straighten out.
Not too far. Not too far. Not jump. Stay. You move your body. Okay, I need combination. I need jab and combination.
Okay, give it the right.
All right, Pete, you're killing him with the body punches. You're killing him.
Stay busy with the jab. Just stay busy with your jab, all right? Just stay busy with that jab.
Pestryayev seems to be breathing very heavily. They're trying to get him to relax.
Well, he has a lot of pressure on him here tonight, being the first time that he's in against this kind of opposition. Then Whitaker's also throwing some pretty good body punches.
It's scheduled for 12. We're halfway through. Harold Letterman, what do you have so far?
Okay, Jim. 59-55, 5 rounds to 1. Pernell, Sweet Pea Whitaker. I did give the 5th round to Andrey Pestryayev. I thought Pernell just didn't punch enough for that round. But basically, Pernell's taking it to him. He's the effective aggressor, and he's out fighting him, making the better shots.
That's your home, fellas. Oh, no. Brother, go home. Let's go. Come on, let's go. That's all right, let's go.
Whitaker may have been frustrated there because Pestryayev landed a hard counter right inside.
Yeah, but Whitaker's also countered with a hard left inside.
Pestryayev performing at the height of his capability, as is indicated by this. Whitaker through 6 rounds landing 34% of his punches. That's a normal connect rate for
Watch
Pete.
this, okay? Don't do that.
But the last 2 opponents against Pestryayev landed half their blows, 50%. And those were lesser known people, not the kind of fighters that Pernell Whitaker has been throughout his career. So I think Pestryayev is rising to the occasion a little bit here. Certainly in the past few rounds, he's gotten much better at dealing with Whitaker's stuff.
Yeah, he's probably a lot more cautious because he knows what he's in against here.
So he's fighting more defensively.
Much more defensively and much carefully. And again, the best defense is offense, and he's throwing some pretty good defensive punches. When Whitaker comes, he throws 3 or 4 straight punches, and that is good right there. Those are good defensive punches.
Watch the elbows. 5 seconds. Nope.
That was a good counter left by Whitaker. He fell a little short with it.
Come on, fellas. Come on, let go. Let's box, fellas. Come on. Box it out. That's it.
Official timekeeper erroneously gave Jim Santa the signal that the clock was ticking down in the round. Santa told the fighters 5 more seconds in the round. There was actually 1 minute and 5, so now they continue fighting.
We can literally hear Pestryayev breathing from here at ringside.
Watch the legs. 5 seconds. Break. Step back. Let's go. 5 seconds, fellas. Time.
And this time it is the end of the round. 7 rounds in the books. And Pestryayev starting to pick up a little fan support here.
That's the way you do it. That's the way you do it. And look, sometimes you put you standing right in front of him a little bit too much sometimes. If you can do that, then you got to jab with this guy, all right? You got to jab and just keep jabbing, staying at
Breathe in, baby.
Then step around him, all right?
Breathe in, baby.
There you go. That's good. Give me one more like that.
Children, You afraid?
Yes.
You afraid?
Yes.
You afraid? No. You're not afraid.
No.
Alors go! Go, Smart!
Here are the two fighters countering each other. Pestryayev starting it, Whitaker starting and finishing. Pestryayev getting in a nice right hand between Whitaker's punches.
Let's go, come on, let's go.
You might have seen Pestryayev laugh in the corner as he was trying to get on the same language track with the trainer. He said, "You're going to go after him, no, yes, no," and he couldn't quite, then he laughed. He's a bright kid. He had 3 years of college, a good athlete. If he'd have been raised in America or some other country where there is a good superstructure of prize fighting, he might have turned out to be a real good fighter.
So what are you saying, Larry?
Well, he's got athletic ability, and you see he's got some want to. He takes the punch well. He just doesn't have the kind of skills he might have gotten if he'd have been brought up to be a fighter in a country with more fighting.
Right.
Some professional fighting.
Right.
In his early teenage years, he was involved in both boxing and hockey. And of course, the two go together hand in glove, but he eventually chose boxing as his sport and has not played much hockey in the last several years.
He may have a little bit more skills than it seems that he's showing tonight, but when you fight a guy like Pernell Whitaker, you can never show too much. He made one of the best fighters in the world look bad, which was Oscar De La Hoya.
Yep.
So you know he can make anybody look to be less skillful than they really are.
Sometimes including himself.
Just something about them southpaws.
Hard left hand lands over the top for Whitaker, but it's hunt and peck now for Pernell in the 8th round as he is reduced to trying to land one punch at a time against the awkward, dogged, gritty Andrey Pestryayev.
No punches, all right, let's go.
Pestryayev may in fact be tired, but he isn't going anywhere.
No, he's here to fight.
Continues to dig in and try to land those straight right hands against Whitaker.
Let's box, fellas. Let's box. Let's box. That's it. Box it out. Box it out. Come on, Pernell. Let's go. Let's box.
Pernell going back to the body and driving Pestryayev up against the ring post with hard body shots.
And this is the best fight for Peter at this point because he's a shorter fighter, so he needs to be inside close to land his punches. Unless he's going to counter like that.
Vintage Whitaker. Go ahead and try to hit me. I'm right in front of you. Two-thirds of the way to a full 12-round rout, and there is the fighting surfer, Jose Luis Lopez of Durango, Mexico. He once dyed his hair blonde for a fight with Yuri Boy Campos, and despite the groovy impression he made with that, he knocked Campos out in a hurry, showed his extraordinary punching power in doing so. We could have some fireworks in this second bout. Larry?
Here you get an overhead look at what happens when a conventional fighter and a southpaw fight. You can see these are not good dance partners sometimes as they step on each other's feet. Roy, nobody seems to be bothered by it, but it could lead to something bad for someone.
Because sometimes it can make somebody stay still a little too long.
Through 8 rounds by CompuBox numbers, Pernell Whitaker has landed twice as many punches as Andrey Pestryayev and thrown 100 200 more punches than has Pestryayev, but Pestryayev has raised his connect percentage from 10%, 11% in the early rounds up to 19%. He's done a little better in the middle stages of the fight.
The best thing for Pestryayev is to put punches together. Because he has the longer arm, he usually can reach Whitaker before Whitaker can reach him, just like that.
Good 1-2 by Whitaker. Pestryayev backs up as Pernell comes in with more hard left hands. Whitaker starting the 8th round or the 9th round very aggressively.
Whitaker's much too strong on the inside for Pestryayev. He's a shorter, more compact fighter.
That's it.
Inside is exactly where he wants to be.
Box away out. Let's go. Let go, Andrey. Let go. Let's go. Box those. Let go.
Left hand lands for Whitaker as they stood shoulder to shoulder and muscled for punching room. There haven't been too many occasions in his career when Pernell Whitaker could out-muscle a man at close range for punching room, but he can do it here.
Watch your head.
Tissue is starting to swell around Pestrayayev's eyes.
That's it. Good job.
As Whitaker continues to land the right hook, the jab, and an occasional left cross.
Technically, you're supposed to get under your opponent when you get inside. Whitaker, because he's 4 inches shorter, is already automatically under Pestryayev when they come together. So that's why he appears to be so much stronger. And then he really is probably physically stronger than Pestryayev because he's built lower to the floor, he's thicker, he's more of a short tank type guy in comparison to Pestryayev.
No, both of you guys, come on, just box, all right? Let's go.
And at 33, he's had more time to season and settle into his strength. Some guys continue to get stronger as they get older, at least up to a point.
I don't know. I think George is still getting stronger.
Yes.
No punches.
Certainly George believes that.
Let's go. Let go, Pernell. Box him, Pernell. Box him. Box those. That's it. Let's go, fellas. Box those. Box those. Come on, fellas. Box those. 5 seconds.
That left hand by Whitaker, well after the bell. Luis Icarri's jumping into the ring to yell at Jim Santa.
Both guys.
And Santa takes over.
Both guys.
Good shot. That's a good shot. No. 10 rounds. 10 rounds. 10 rounds. We're going 12 rounds, bro. How many rounds we going? 12. Come on. The bell rings, no punches.
Иди локоть стал. Не садись низко.
You're getting much too low.
You don't want win. You don't want win? You win.
No.
You win.
You're getting much too low.
Win.
You're having a lot of problems. Hold up your arms.
Here you're watching what happened at the end of the round in slow motion. Now follow it in real speed. One beat after the bell. Perhaps some frustration on Whitaker's part. We've seldom seen that in the past.
And an interesting moment as you heard Pernell asking his cornermen, how many rounds are we going? It is a 12-round bout, designated as such by the governing body that ranks Pestryayev #1 and Whitaker #2. Harold, how you got it through 10?
Jim, 88-83.
I mean through 9.
88-83, 7 rounds to 2. Pernell Sweet Pea with a commanding 5-point lead. Jim, let me tell you something. Pernell Whitaker had an open glove, an open right hand, and when that bell rang, you knew darn well if he was going to measure him with that right hand, he was going to cut the left hand loose, and that's exactly what he did. He cracked him with it. But you know what the judges are seeing? They're seeing Andrey Pestryayev grab. You see, he lands 3 punches and he grabs. The judges watch that. That's one of the things they look for, and that's why they give the rounds to Whitaker. Pernell's winning this one big.
Keep him up, let's go.
Something very rare we've seen tonight, he threw a body shot.
feet. Watch the feet.
Whitaker loading up left hands and firing them across the top. Able to land against Pestryayev. And there's a typical piece of Whitaker's sleight of hand as he gets away from the barrage of punches by Pestryayev. Skips back into position and comes back with the jab.
Break, no punches, no punches. Let's go. Watch your holding. Let's go.
Pestrayayev's gotten caught up into the same thing that most Whitaker opponents get caught up in, which is trying to hit his head.
Keep him up.
You cannot hit Whitaker with many punches to the head. He's one of the best defensive fighters of all time. Why go out there and get yourself frustrated trying to hit him on the head?
So you should focus on the body.
And then work your way up to his head if you're ever going to try to land head punches.
No punches, let's go.
But he's far too slick to let guys like this hit him with flush, clean head shots. One or two every now and then maybe, but not many. That's why he's been around so long.
Come on, box.
And of course, Pestrayev's punches wind up looking tentative often because he starts the punch aiming at Whitaker's head. He realizes as the punch is halfway there that the target is gone.
Or it may not be there when the punch gets there.
Come on, folks. No punches, come on. Let go, no punches. Let go, punch, come on, Andrey. No punches, no punches. Step back, step back. Ah, no punches.
Don't worry about that. Look, this guy's desperate, baby. All right? Give me another good. This guy's desperate right now. You just keep boxing this guy. Using that good jab, don't let him get set. All right? And keep stepping around this guy. Playing at him, act like you're going to hit him with the left hand and walk away from this guy. Just keep walking around this guy. Just give him a deep breath.
Don't let him take the play away from you. You're right, you're right. I know you're right.
This guy ain't got nothing to do. Nothing at all. All right? This guy, all they're doing is trying to throw punches. Only two he's in a desperate attempt right now. Just keep using the jab and stepping around this guy. Every now and then, feint at him, hit him with the left hand, and come back with the hook. And then walk back around and go back to the jab.
Smart. Right.
Bout was originally scheduled for 10 rounds, then later changed to 12. So now Pernell, Whitaker, and Andrey Pestryayev go into the championship rounds. CompuBox punch stat numbers showing Whitaker landing still more than twice as many punches as Pestryayev.
Watch the elbows. Watch the legs, guys.
I, for one, could do without these last 2 rounds.
Come on, Andrey, box. Let's go. Let go. Get it, let go for now. That's it. Good job. Good job.
But the WBA wanted you to have them, Larry.
I like to see Sweet Pea in action.
Let go of him, Pernell. Box him, Pernell. Let go of him.
They're for Roy.
Watch your heads. Watch your heads. Watch your heads. Let go. Come on. Oh, let's get your head in the ring. Let's go. Come on. Keep fighting. Are you all right? Come on, get in here. What are you doing? Get one.
What's going on, Roy?
3, 4.
The referee going crazy, I guess.
6, 7. Can't hang out of the ring. Hey, are you okay? Let's go. Can't hang out of the ring.
So a knockdown scored against Whitaker by Pestryayev.
Let's go boxing for him. Boxing, let's go.
It's the 9th time in Whitaker's career that he's been knocked down. He's no stranger to that experience. Obviously, he's going to say, wait a minute, what are you talking about? That was no knockdown. He got himself tangled in the ropes, went through to the other side of the rope. Santa told Pestryayev to keep fighting.
But he seemed to be playing there. What was he doing in that? On the rope.
Hard to figure.
Hey, settle down. Let's go. Let's go. You better fight. Let's go. Box.
And a now eager Pestryayev may believe that he has Whitaker in trouble as he launches heavy right hands coming forward. And Whitaker lands that counter right hook.
No punches, fellas. Come on, Pernell. Step back. Let's go. Step back. Let's go.
In the background, I see Arturo Gatti, the junior lightweight champion, cheering for Whitaker, his stablemate.
No, let go.
trying to get him to
Step back. No punches. No punches.
be a little bit more
Let's go.
offensive. Nobody has to tell Gaddy to be more offensive.
Gaddy coming off his spectacular fifth-round knockout of Gabriel Ruelas on the undercard of Luis Galata, a fight in which Ruelas performed brilliantly despite being knocked out. Gaddy was just that good that night.
I sense a certain frustration in Whitaker now. I think he wishes it were a 10-round fight, too.
Well, it's tough on Pernell to have to fight a 6-foot-tall guy. 6 inches taller than he is.
The most important thing in the world right now is to don't lose your cool with this guy. Don't lose your cool, okay? Don't let the referee, don't let the referee make you lose your cool, and don't let this guy lose your cool.
You box, baby, box.
That's box good this round. Right. Use that jab combination with this guy. This guy ain't got nothing left, okay?
Number of punches landed, dropping off to 11 of that round.
You gotta win it yourself.
You are the champ. Don't let him jerk with you. Brief.
Let's see what was called a knockdown here. I don't know. Does that look like a knockdown to you? It's a technical knockdown because Pernell, for whatever reason, bent himself between the ropes and laid there for a few seconds.
Both guys. That's right. Let's go. Let's go.
So Pestryayev goes to the 12th round for only the second time in his career. Whitaker has lived in the 12th round. Been here literally dozens of times. Crowd gets into it a little bit as the 12th round begins.
Step back, let's go, let's box. Step back.
Whitaker grinning wildly at Roy Jones now at ringside. As though the whole thing is hysterical, but remember, he elected not to fight hard and showed off a little bit in the 12th round against De La Hoya, and although technically it didn't cost him the fight because he had already lost it, the scores were that one-sided that night, it was a powerful argument for people who said afterward that they felt Oscar had wanted the fight more than Pernell.
Break, no punch.
Whitaker electing to continue to throw punches tonight, even while attempting to show Pestryayev up a little bit by dancing away from him.
No punches, no punches. Come on, guys.
Pretending to be wobbly. Pernell's always wanted to have fun fighting.
Yeah, early in his career, he used some of his showboating tactics to bring attention to himself. It was a good marketing device. For a middle-aged man, I think it's a little passé. I don't see that it thrills anybody anymore.
No punches. Come on, come on. No punches. Let's go. Come on.
Larry, he's middle-aged at 33.
He's old at 33 in this game.
No, step back, step back, step back. Step back, go over there. You okay? Okay.
Pestryayev.
Out goes the mouthpiece of Pestryayev.
No punches, guys. Step back, Pernell. Let go, let go. Watch your head, watch your head. Let's go.
Mouthpiece is lying on the canvas behind Pestryayev. Santa picks it up.
Time.
That's Jim Santa, not Santa Claus.
Time. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Let's go. Pernell. Hurry up. Hurry up. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, Pernell. Time in. Let's go.
Uppercut lands for Whitaker as Pestryayev leans over and comes in.
Pestryayev is throwing punches as though he's looking to outpoint Whitaker, and that's not the case. I think he's far too far behind to outpoint Whitaker at this point.
Watch, guys.
The But what if a couple of the judges did have it close? If a couple of the judges had it close, and Pestryayev got a 2-point round in the 11th as the result of Santa having ruled a knockdown, well, I don't want to say stranger things have happened, but lots of strange things have happened. Let's look at a scorecard that probably isn't terribly strange. Harold?
Okay, Jim. 115, 112, 8 rounds to 4. Pernell, Sweet Pea Whitaker. Jim, let me tell you something. It was a questionable call in the 11th round. I understand what Jim Santa did, but let's face reality. If a guy slips into the ropes, I mean, he couldn't let Andrey Pestryayev hit Whitaker while Whitaker was caught up in the ropes. He should have told Pestryayev to take a step back and let Whitaker get out of those ropes, not call it a knockdown, because Whitaker didn't go in there from a clean, effective punch. But be as it may, you were right. You got to give him 10-8 in the 11th round. Pestryayev probably won the 12th round, so I gave Pestryayev 4 rounds. I still think Whitaker wins it by 3 points. There's no question Pernell should get this decision.
We'll see. Luis Icaris, Pestrayayev's trainer, was trying to lift him up in the air in a victory lift, but Pestryayev would have none of it.
I thought the same thing that Harold said. I thought the referee should have stepped in when he got tangled in the ropes. Make the guy back a step, because that's how accidents happen. If the referee doesn't say anything, that guy's job is to try to get Whitaker out, just like it's Whitaker's job to try to get him out. So they are only going to react to the command of the referee. The referee should have stepped in and said stop when he saw Whitaker first tangled up in the ropes. Then everything would have been okay.
Well, let me play devil's advocate, and I'll offer you what I think was going through Santa's mind. I think he believed that Whitaker went into the ropes intentionally, and that he ruled a knockdown because Whitaker was intentionally putting himself between the ropes and wouldn't follow his order to get out.
No, not originally. Not originally. Hey, look, if you're hung up in the ropes and you got a 6-foot monster standing over you, ready to whack you with a right hand or drop a right hand down on you, you know, you're going to stay there until the referee tells the guy step back, like Roy said. And that's what Pete did. He stayed in the ropes. Santa should have yelled step back, and that would have been the end of it.
And now Pestryayev is a monster, huh, Harold?
Well, he's 6 foot tall. I mean, you know, Pete's a little guy.
All righty. Let's go to Michael Buffer and hear the scores.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the Budweiser scorecards. Glenn Feldman scores the bout 115 to 103. Pardon me, make it 113. Pernell Whitaker. Don O'Neill scores the bout 114 to 113. Tommy Kazmarek scores at 115 to 112. For the winner by unanimous decision, Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker.
Icaris brother, Luis Icaris' brother, Michel Icaris, who is so violently angry at the decision and is helping to create the ruckus in the center of the ring. Icaris seems to believe that the scores have been added incorrectly. Promoter Dino Duva, Whitaker's promoter, there helping to straighten out the scoring imbroglio if he can. Along with WBA observer Jimmy Benz, the man in the pinstripe suit there, who's often called Jimmy Pinstripes. Final punch stat numbers, and you'll see Whitaker's numerical dominance in these numbers. Sweet Pea smiling at the entire affair. Whitaker landed 117 more punches, threw 81 more punches, and nearly doubled the connect percentage of the dogged Pestryayev, who just wouldn't go away. And final jabs, and you'll see that Whitaker totally dominated that category, as Pestryayev could land only 12% of the jabs he threw, despite his big height and reach advantage. Let's go to Larry Merchant with Sweet Pea Whitaker.
All right, thank you, Jim. Sweet Pea, a little bit of a ruckus behind you. I guess the Russian-French contingent thought that their man had won the fight.
If that had happened again for the second time in a row, I don't know what would have happened, Larry.
Well, tell us what happened when the referee gave you a knockdown because you went outside the ropes. What was the point there?
I think it turned into something like I was fighting against both of these guys. First of all, the referee was real rough on me. Plus, you know, once I went out the ropes, he hit me again. And, you know, I thought, you know, I thought once you're outside the ropes, you're not supposed to get hit.
Well, but maybe that's true, but the referee said if you go outside the ropes, it's a knockdown.
I accepted it. You know, and I accepted it. What I'm supposed to do. I accepted it, and
all right, tell us, was this guy just too big, too awkward, a little bit tough?
None of the above. Oh, very tough opponent. You know, all the opponents. Plus, he was the #1 contender. You know, as you know, I come in with no titles. So, you know, and I still, after being robbed in April, I still came back to fight the best.
The #1 contender.
And I won. And that's what counts. And I'm sure my HBO audience enjoyed it.
Would you tell us,
subscribe?
Pernell, were you satisfied with your performance? And do you think that this is the kind of performance that will make Oscar De La Hoya want to fight you again?
If he's seen, I don't think if he don't want to fight me, if he didn't fight me by now, he won't fight me. So I know that this performance probably scared him to death because I had a great time in there. You know, I had fun, and that's what the name of the game is. Pernell Whitaker is to have fun. I have fun against him. I'm gonna have fun against anyone who steps in the ring with Pernell Whitaker. First, and then I want to say hi to my boys. All my sons, my 4 sons back at home, before I let that slip past me. I want to say hi to everybody in Virginia, all my family and everybody.
You told us yesterday that you thought that if you fought De La Hoya again, you would have to throw more combinations and you might even have to knock him out to win the fight, given what happened in the last fight.
I would knock him out the next time. I didn't say I had to. I said I would. I don't have to do anything but go in there and win the fight. But since if I get robbed when I'm the champion, regardless, I know I wouldn't get it being a challenge.
Will you, if you don't get the rematch, will you fight the winner of the next fight, Lopez or Corte?
I want all my fans and all the fans across the world to know I'm going to fight one time next year. I don't care who it is, but I'm going to fight one time next year. Like I said, and if it's a spectacular fight, I'll do it again. Depends on what happens. But I'm going to fight one time. I don't care if it's Corte. I don't care if it's
Lopez.
De La Hoya. I don't care if it's Moses. It don't matter.
All right, thank you, Pernell. Jim, what Pernell is saying, he's going to fight one time next year, unless he wins. Back up to you.
All right, Pernell Whitaker's been talking for the past couple of weeks about his 4 boys ranging in age from 2 to 16, and now he wants to devote some time to fathering. He's missed a lot of it in the past, and he thinks it ought to be a big part of his future. Maybe it will be, because part of the problem for Pernell, Roy, is